The show, everybody. This is episode number 250 of the Iron Coop Fights movies. This episode is available on iTunes, YouTube, Google Play, and hosted by SoundCloud. I'm Kier, your host. With me on the show today are my co-hosts Emerson
Hey, what's going on?
and Everett.
Hey, what's up?
I decided that pretty much people that are going to buy my book have bought it. So what I've done is I've reduced the price of the ebook because I can't really reduce the price of this. I've reduced the price of the ebook to $3 so that people can just read it very cheaply. So give it a look. It's in the description. This week, the team reviews Prisoners. Here's our synopsis. Siblings.
Brothers.
Oh, yeah, Brothers. I didn't.
I was like, oh, fuck.
Siblings Sam and Tommy Cahill are as far apart as brothers can be. While Sam serves his country as a Marine, Tommy is a drifter who just got out of prison. When Sam is shot down and presumed dead in Afghanistan, Tommy vows to take care of Sam's wife, Grace, and his children. Tommy and Grace become close, and when Sam unexpectedly returns home, the consequences of their actions threaten the foundation of the entire family. I'm going to explain our rating system. On the show, we give the titles that we have watched a rating of win, draw, or loss. A win is a title that we would highly recommend, while a draw is a title we didn't love but recognize others may appreciate. A loss means we do not recommend the title. Emerson, what do you say?
So I'm going to give it a draw. I thought it was good. It had some really interesting scenes. However, overall, it was just, I kept waiting for this moment, like in Prisoners, where everything just like clicks. And because we were watching this because it was somewhat similar to Prisoners or related to Prisoners, or it was the same kind of movie. And just watching it, I was like, okay, yeah, it's fine. But I wouldn't go to someone and be like, you have to watch Brothers. Like, you have to watch this thing. I highly recommend it. To me, it's something that's like, yeah, this is a decent film. It's an interesting story. I'll talk about the things I liked. I'll talk about some moments that I thought were kind of slow, or some moments where I was like, really, that's the extent of what happened. So it's basically just a draw for me. A fairly, decent middle of the road movie.
All right, Everett.
I'm gonna give it a win. I actually really liked this movie. I thought the acting was good. Few people didn't do as good of a job as I thought they would, but I liked the story. I liked some of the plot points, and I loved the ending. I can't wait to talk about the ending. But overall, yeah, Emerson was right. There are a few points in this movie that go a little slow, and yeah, I'm sure we'll talk about that in spoilers. But overall, I really liked it. I don't really have a lot to say about it, but yeah, I give it a win.
I give it a win too. I think that it's. I'm not sure how you could make it better, so I'm interested to see your theory. So let's go into spoilers. So Emerson, what would you change?
Well, first of all, I thought that I was expecting, as I said, I went into this blind with I had no knowledge of this, right? So I was like, okay, something is happening. He's in Afghanistan, whatever. I thought that Natalie Portman and why do I forget the actor's name? Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal. I thought that they were going to have a much more obvious problematic relationship, rather than having one moment of intimacy followed by just a lot of like emotional replacement. So when he came back and Jake Gyllenhaal Natalie Portman tells him like this is all that happened, and then he's having his PTSD, I was like, okay, he's obviously overreacting still, but I think it would have been more interesting if there was like some further level to the betrayal, rather than just like, okay, they shared a kiss and then there was a lot of like emotional stuff.
Yeah, I don't think you thought that through. If there's further betrayal, then Tobey Maguire like kills them all and blows his brains out at the end.
Right, but then there would be more. But instead, it just comes to the point where like, okay, why is he overreacting? Furthermore, when he has his
What do
like
you mean
total
why?
breakdown,
He has major PTSD.
yeah, I know, but when he has his
He
total
doesn't
breakdown,
believe
not
it.
one person tells him like that didn't happen. What you're saying didn't happen. After the girl, the like little snot-nosed girl makes her explosion at dinner, not one person is like, that's obviously a lie. Like, that could have helped. He might be crazy, he might be a nut, but if everyone is repeatedly explaining to him what she said is wrong, instead of just like no one addressing it and then waiting till he like absolutely loses it.
I mean, I did think that was a little bit of a nitpick to like why didn't they push it harder that it didn't happen, but they did tell him, And it's an uncomfortable talk, like to have at that table to be like, we didn't have sex, like we only kissed. Well, like I could see why. I assume maybe some of those conversations happened off screen.
I mean, maybe, but it's just like I was like, why is no one like when they're in the kitchen and he's like, I did all this shit to get back to you. He's destroying the kitchen. Like, do you know what I fucking did to get back to you? And she's just like, please stop. Like, this is when you reiterate, I didn't do that. Like, and she kind of does
yeah,
that.
but
Where
it's
she's
not about it's not about them cheating.
no, it's about what he did in Afghanistan. But what's triggering him even more is the idea that he did all this to come back to a betrayal.
I don't
I
think
I
so.
kind of see what Emerson's saying.
Then
There's that
what do
scene
you
where
think it's about?
He's 100% losing his mind over Afghanistan, and this is just like one thing he came back to, and he can't handle any of it. He can't
Okay, I
handle
didn't.
life at all.
I saw it more as that the Afghanistan thing was eating at him, but what drove him insane was that he did that to come back to a betrayal or what he thought was a betrayal.
So you don't think the fact that he's seeing the guy that he killed, that guy's baby son, you think as
Oh
he
no,
sees that,
100% that is having an effect on him, but he doesn't seem to lose his shit until they're
he's
like
losing his shit the whole time.
he's losing his shit, but he doesn't have this giant episode until like the thing with Jake Gyllenhaal and Natalie Portman is what seems to be the center point. That's what he starts freaking out about even before he fully loses his shit. He's talking about that to both Jake Gyllenhaal and Natalie Portman.
I don't know, man. The first thing that breaks him is not like a Dear John letter, it's killing his comrade.
I mean, yeah, I agree. That's what breaks him. But it was just like, okay, it wasn't like, as I said, this was a decent movie, but there was a lot of like watching Jake Gyllenhaal and Natalie Portman hanging out. And then we would go back to Afghanistan, which was interesting. And then we'd watch them hang out again. Like I was just, I wasn't super warm on it.
Well, I think you have to see enough of them because otherwise you might fill in the blanks that they were having sex.
And see, that's the thing. I was
The
expecting
runtime.
like there to be a real,
It
like
was an
level.
hour and 45 minutes. I don't think it was that slow of a movie.
I don't know. I was just like, okay, they're hanging out. I kept waiting for that moment, for that thing like in Prisoners, where it's like this great. And obviously, the PTSD scene
Yeah,
at the
but
end was
that's a
very good.
whodunit. That's like a murder mystery.
Well, as I said, I went into this not knowing what it was, and the only thing I
Yeah,
knew is that we
but
were watching this because we watched Prisoners.
I said it was the same tone, not it's another like whodunit.
It didn't feel like the same tone to me though. It felt like I don't know. It felt a
It's
little all
definitely
over the place.
unsettling and like people be like doing really good acting of being like what you wouldn't expect. Like Tobey Maguire, I think was fantastic.
No, Tobey Maguire was amazing. I 100% agree. But I was waiting for like this like lightning moment, and it kind of happened at the end, and then it ended really quickly. Like it wrapped up really fast.
I don't know. Didn't you say you watched this like late at night on Thursday night or something?
No,
You said
I
you told us-
started it on Thursday, but then I didn't finish it, so I went back and watched it the next
Why
day
didn't you finish it?
because I was tired.
I suspect that might have something to do with your review that you like broke it up and because like I don't know, Everett, what do you think? That final scene, like he's saying there was no like big moment, no like
I said
lightning.
that was a
final scene
good
was
moment. I said that was an
Yeah,
excellent moment.
but that shit it all comes together and is like crashing down in that moment, and it's terrifying the way he's acting. You think he might kill everyone, and then he might kill himself, and like the cops or get gunned down, or like they might get caught in the crossfire. Like, there's a lot happening there. What do you think, Everett?
I agree. I think the movie's really good on like it compounding in on itself. Like if you start off with this guy goes to Afghanistan and he ends up dying, quote unquote. You have to go through all this stuff like the relationship with his parents, and he's slowly becoming more like of a maternal figure to these two kids, and it's really cool to watch them like build up a relationship. And then he comes back, like everything like seems to be fixing itself. They're getting into that comfort zone. He comes back, and then it just starts like going on that roller coaster. Like he's not great with his kids. Like obviously his brother is definitely the favorite of them. That relationship is strained, and then he just goes off the rails. I love that stuff.
I think it's super interesting the way the way Jake Gyllenhaal replaced him
Mm-hmm.
because that's really unfair to come back to.
Although I will sort of agree with Emerson that it is kind of weird that they didn't straight up tell Tobey Maguire that nothing was happening. Do you remember that scene
They did.
where they're ice skating and Tobey Maguire and Jake Gyllenhaal are sitting on that bench, and he just flat out asks, "Did you have sex with her?" And he just doesn't say anything. He just keeps like dodging the question. He's like, "Who's telling you that? What's got you thinking that?" doesn't say anything. He keeps looking down. He's almost like he is guilty, but he's not. So
Yeah,
it's a little
you'd
weird.
be surprised in real life how many people are like that. Like, I
Yeah,
think
but
that
just
was a
being
pretty
direct
real.
solves so many problems. Just being direct, no, I did not. Why do you think that? Like, it may not have stopped what was coming, but it definitely wouldn't. It would have helped, and just even to a small degree, to
He
just
didn't
say
believe
like,
them at all. He didn't
Seeing the
believe anything.
contrast.
but they're
um,
given some like gray area for him to work with. They're
Because
100%
there is gray area. Like, he's
not as
also
much of what
replaced him.
he's saying. Natalie Portman straight up is like, we kissed. That's it. Nothing else.
and then he goes nuts.
Well,
And
he
he doesn't
doesn't
believe her
go
at all.
nuts right then. He goes nuts later.
He goes nuts later, but he doesn't believe them anyway. Didn't he say even in that conversation, like, I think you fucked them?
Yeah, he says, I think you're fucking him. But it's like, maybe if you've got Jake Gyllenhaal saying it, and then you've got Natalie Portman saying it, and then when he's having his fucking episode, you're stressing it. And I understand that, like, the primary stressor is the fact that he murdered this dude, which was also a little strange. But I guess the point there is that he like mentally broke.
Mhm. It's also really cool to see, like, because at the beginning of the movie, you see his brother show up, like, that felon just got out of jail. The kids like see him, they're like, "Oh, we don't like you. Like, our mom doesn't like you." Like, and then as the movie goes on, when Tobey Maguire comes back, it's the same thing. Like, they're backing away from him. They're freaked out. They don't like him anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I really liked it. Well, so Everett, you wanted to talk about the ending.
Well, I love that ending. Just because I've never really seen Tobey Maguire act like that before. Like, I've seen him in Spider-Man. I saw him in Seabiscuit. I've seen him obviously like in The Great Gatsby and a couple other places, but I've never seen him go off like that, and it's so entertaining to see.
He has a very weird screaming face.
Yeah, he has a really weird screaming voice too. I just kept thinking like it's the train scene from Spider-Man 2.
But like
But
when when they're at that birthday party and the girl says that thing and he's just sitting there like, oh fuck.
Yeah,
This
that's
dude's
a
about to
very
lose it.
powerful moment. I enjoyed that scene. I really enjoyed when he was losing his mind. I just was like, I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe it was because I watched it in two parts and I was tired in the beginning, so it felt fucking like forever. But
It was a short movie. I think it was well paced. I think it comes to a thrilling conclusion. And I think it has the right ending. Because any way that he dies or they die is just a horrible message about like PTSD and soldiers.
yeah, that there's no way to fix them.
Yeah,
think about
and
it
you
from
better
his point
watch
of view
out.
for a minute. Like you're in bed with your wife and she basically says like, yeah, something may have happened, but it wasn't really that serious. And like like all that stuff starts going on. He goes on that episode and then immediately his brother shows up out of nowhere. Like that would just
Yeah, that's
fuck
the
with
kind
my
of
brain.
shit. Yeah, that's the kind of shit. It's like they're telling him like, why are you going? Jake Gyllenhaal, whatever his name was, Tommy or whatever. They're like, why are you going? And he's going because he feels like he's the dad. And it's like, yeah, they are in danger, but you call the cops. You don't go yourself. That 100% made it worse.
Mhm.
Then he's the one who saves his brother at the end
Well, yeah, I
because
guess.
he's the one who got through to him when he was going to kill
Yeah,
himself.
yeah, yeah. That's
Also,
Have
I
you
have
guys seen? Oh, go ahead, Everett.
well, I was gonna say really quickly, I have in my notes. After the funeral, when he's arguing with his dad, there's such a raw line when they're arguing. He's like, "You could never make me proud," and he looks at him straight faced and goes, "Pride is a sin," and they get really mad at each other. I love that
They were
shit.
good. What's that actor's name? The dad. I forgot.
I
He's
don't
famous.
remember,
He's
but
been in stuff.
Yeah, Sam Shepard.
Um,
Is that Sam Shepard?
anyway, continue, Emerson.
have you guys seen what is it called? I pulled it up on my phone here. Thank you for your service.
I've heard of it.
Is
I've
that
never
also
seen
with
it.
Jake Gyllenhaal?
No, but it's supposed to be like the
Oh, I'm
greatest
thinking of Jarhead.
PTSD. Yeah, it's supposed to be the greatest PTSD movie like ever, like the most realistic PTSD description. I've never seen it, but I
Oh,
saw someone
Miles
talk
Oh,
Teller.
Miles Teller's in it. Oh,
I
it's got
I
3
don't
stars.
remember. I think I have.
I've never seen it. I just was told that like it's the greatest PTSD depiction ever or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think I have seen this, and it didn't make a huge impression on me.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely have because I remember looking up some of these actors, being like, "Do I know them?" All right. I was gonna ask you guys, how do you guys think that you should market this movie? because the synopsis tells you that he lives.
Yeah, so I think that you should lean into the. So there's a couple ways you could do it. You could do the bait and switch, where it's supposed to be a movie about like he dies, and then it's like what happens to the family after. But then like the type of audience who goes to that movie might be disturbed with the
Yeah, you
direction it
can't. You
takes.
can't. Yeah, you have to tell him. I think. Well,
So then,
also, that's the inciting incident. If you think about it, like when he comes back, the movie, technically, the movie's inciting incident is when he dies. Or, I mean,
well,
yeah. I don't think it's when Tommy comes out of jail. I think it's when he dies. Um, and when he dies, then there's the new status quo. And when he comes back, I guess is like, I don't know, the midpoint.
well, so one way you could market it is in like trailers and synopses, and I guess they kind of do this. I've never seen a trailer, but in the synopsis you read, um, you reveal that he was deployed, something happened, and now he's back, but you don't reveal what happened. And then you try to like play up, like you could almost give a trailer from his point of view without showing what happened, and like he thinks something happened. And you keep the audience in the dark about whether something did happen until they see the movie. And then the audience is waiting to see like what happened, what happened, what happened. And that would ramp up, they can see it from his point of view.
Yeah, that's the only way that works. I also thought that the older daughter's face was terrifying.
Yeah, she's from fucking what is it? Lion Witch in the Wardrobe?
Bridge to Terabithia, I think.
I see Bridge to Terabithia. I don't see.
Yeah, her name's
Isn't-
Bailey Madison, right?
Is the other daughter from Lion Witch in the Wardrobe?
I have no idea
Yeah, that
who the
one.
other daughter is.
Well, they were both terrifying to me.
I know Bailey Madison. I used to be friends with her.
Really?
We when I was on Disney, we used to I met her at a couple events and we became friends, but we lost contact. But she was really nice in person.
So you were her age when this movie came out?
Somewhere around that line.
When did
She's
this
like
come
one.
out? 2009. So
2009.
yeah, so Everett was like 11 or 12.
She's 1 year younger than I am.
So she was like 9 years old. It says she's 22.
Yeah.
Interesting. So you were on Disney? Tell us about that.
No, we can save that for another time. But but I liked her in this movie. I like both the daughters. I think they do a good job of sort of conveying that emotion.
She was actually a good actress.
switching.
Her face was just, I don't know. She was at a weird age. She looks more normal now.
I think she was fine.
All right. I think that's it. Anything else?
Not for the movie. I have the fight of the week, but
Me.
All right. Fight of the week.
okay. So the moment that ticks off this whole disaster is when he beats his comrade to death, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Now,
God.
when the helicopter got shot down, they were the only two that survived. Okay. Now, if the three of us survived with the two of them, okay, so we get marched into the encampment. Okay. We're all just soldiers. We're rank and file soldiers. Okay. We're gonna get tortured. All this shit's gonna happen, and he's gonna snap. Okay.
Who's he?
Fucking Tobey Maguire. Like he's the captain. He's good. The other dude is Joe. Was that the other guy's name?
Okay. Wait. There's three of us plus the two of them.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
5 survivors.
So we watch Tobey Maguire beat Joe to death with a stick, and they're gonna make it happen again. Okay, Kia, what are you gonna do?
So they're gonna drag one of us out and get
Yes,
killed by
they're
Tobey
either gonna
Maguire?
have us fight each other or have us fight Toby. Like they're gonna do it till there's only one left. They're gonna make us beat each other to death. That seems to be what they were into. I'm sure they would have done it.
It
if they
didn't
had
seem
more
much
culture.
of a fight. It was literally like an execution. Like if you
That's
fight
true.
back, they might just
Well,
shoot
it's because the guy had like mentally broken and was worthless to them.
you.
Well, for one, like I would refuse to do it because they're video recording it.
See, that's what I was gonna ask. So, like, let's say you were in. Let's change the scenario a bit before we go on. If you were in Cahill's position, you have the pipe. Would you just say, "All right, kill me"?
Yeah, because the point is like I kill him so they let me live. but he's not useful to them, so they're gonna kill that guy. So if they let me live, they're gonna want to interrogate me or use me for something, or if they find that I'm not useful anymore, they're gonna just kill me too. And even if I do live, I have to live with the fact that, and apparently I didn't know, like apparently that guy is like from his town and he knows his children. So like, how are you like, if your goal is to make it back to your family, how am I supposed to go back and be like, yeah, I killed that guy that like down the street, drive by his house every day or some shit like that. Like that
So
kid
you would
grows
just be
up.
like, kill me.
I would just refuse to do it. I wouldn't say kill me, but I would just refuse to do it. I was like, you can't ask me to do this.
Now let's flip the script.
Well, in the movie, they held a gun to his head. They're like, if you don't kill him, I will kill you. So,
And I'm like, then you're gonna kill me anyway. Why would I kill him?
You're dragged out. Okay. You're dragged out. You're put down on the ground. They bring Everett out and they hand him a pipe. Okay.
Yeah.
And they tell Everett to kill you.
Everett's not gonna do it.
no, I don't think I'm going to do it.
So you're just gonna hedge your bets. You're like, I'm not gonna do anything.
Well, as soon as he strikes at me, I'm gonna disarm him and beat him to death.
This is assuming you're not mentally broken the same way the other guy was.
Yeah. I'm 100% ready to beat you. Yeah.
I can just imagine Everett like looks at kid. He's like, "I'm sorry," and the kid just jumps on him.
I kick his kneecap in so it like hyperextends. He's like, ah.
Yeah. And like all the terrorists are like, "Whoa!" They're like backing up as you like beat the
Yeah, I like grab his lapel and like pull him into the dirt, get on his back, like choke him.
Yeah, everyone's like, "Holy shit!"
This motherfucker's insane.
They're like,
The
let's
terrorists-
just kill this guy because we definitely can't beat him in a fight.
Yeah, I hear a single gunshot, but they bring both bodies back, but Everett doesn't have a bullet wound. I'm like, what the fuck? But so, do you think you could have taken Cahill if you were in the position of Joe?
Taking him?
Yeah, like he's got the pipe and he's looking at you. Like, let's just say, like, you're not broken,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
so what would you do?
You could just do jujitsu. Like he has to actually make contact. Like I don't care if he has the pipe. So I'm already on the ground, which means he has to like swing downward,
Mhm.
and then I just pull guard and I look for the pipe, trap the arm, something like that. I might take a few hits, but in the movie, like he kills him pretty quickly. That's not like
Yeah.
you're gonna be
Kills him in
bashing
like
for a
4
while.
hits.
Yeah, you're gonna be killing that guy for a while, especially if I'm resisting. Like he basically has one shot to knock me unconscious before I am basically entangled with him, and he can no longer lift his arm to strike without getting choked or something. So
Okay. All right, fair.
I mean, they would record that, I guess. But I wouldn't have to kill him. I could just choke him out,
Yeah.
and then they'd be like, "Listen, hey, maybe we should like produce this like soldier fights and sell it on like YouTube."
Yeah, they just get out of terrorism business completely, and it's
Yeah.
just like UFC now.
Any captured POWs, like just bring them in. Yeah,
They have brackets, like
give them a belt.
they get interviewed. Yeah, it's like, I know I'm gonna beat that Russian guy. You know, he's been in the prison for 10 years. Like,
All right. Do you guys have anything for Roundup?
Not from me, no.
no.
I watched Snyder Cut again because I was
Oh, yeah.
debating on canceling my Cyborg order, and I wanted to see if I
Really,
actually
you're gonna
still
do that to
wanted
Ray
it.
Fisher after all that he's been done to him?
I know, it's kind of funny. Like after all it went through to even get that pre-order up. So I ordered it because it looks fantastic. But then I'm like, it's like $300 something. Do I really need to have him? And it's like, well, then you don't have the full line. It's like, but do I care? And
For all
so
we
I
know,
just-
there's gonna be another Justice League without him in like 2 years.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like I like that like I like Henry Cavill's Superman. I like the Flash. I like I mean, I don't love.
Haven't
Ben
even made a
Affleck's
Green
Batman.
Lantern yet.
Yeah, it's missing a Green Lantern. Like I would 100% swap just like any generic Green Lantern for Cyborg. Like I don't need.
That's fucked.
Cyborg is. I don't know. I was thinking like, how am I going to pose him? Do I even care? It's like, no, he's literally just there to say that I have them all.
So watching the Snyder Cut, I remember we discussed before, like when we watched it, if I remember correctly, we were kind of cool on it. Like it was still too long. You especially were like very.
There were
much like-
some good things and some bad things.
So what did you think watching it this time?
Same thing. There were some good things and there's some really bad things. Like that nightmare sequence at the end with the Joker.
Oh God.
Like he's like laughing like a seagull. Like, what the fuck? How could you think that's good? Like, who could put that out there and think it's good? The fight on Themyscira, it's like way too long. Like, Jesus, how could you film all this shit? Like, who let you film all this? Um, like, I mean, somebody's got to tell you at some point, like, this is just too long. The whole point of the scene is that he gets the mother box. Like, we're going on like 20 minutes now of them just like run away. Like, um, I think like Martha coming to console, what's it, Lois, and then it turns out to be Martian Manhunter. I'm like, that is the craziest idea. Like, I can't believe, how could you do that? Like, it's like finally a sweet moment of character in the movies, and it's like it's Martian Manhunter. It's just so funny. Like, he's just trying to shoehorn everything. Um, Wonder Woman in the museum still looks stupid as fuck, even though at least it makes more sense now. But like the way she's like duck walking in front of them to stop the bullets, and I'm trying to think. I still like Aquaman, but Mara's accent. You guys remember
Oh,
Yeah.
Amber Heard's accent was
Yeah.
atrocious and
Mhm.
hilarious, and continuity's not right. Like they have to speak in an air bubble in this movie, but in Aquaman they don't.
yeah.
I only ever watched Aquaman the first time.
I
Have you
only
guys
ever
ever
watched
seen
it
it?
once.
I only watched it once.
Yeah, I
I
don't know.
watched it in theaters. I
And
haven't
I
even
feel like,
seen it at home.
yeah, I feel like I watched Wonder Woman twice.
I definitely watched Wonder Woman a few times.
I think I watched Wonder Woman like twice, maybe like once in theaters.
You'd
and
think that
once
we
at
would
home.
watch it more, but there's just something about them that's just not that compelling.
I think it's
Kia.
because it's like scenes. Like Wonder Woman, it's cool when she gets out of the trench, but getting there is like it takes a while.
Yeah. Whatever.
Did you see that thing regarding Hot Toys that you have to now protect your orders in order to get them not
It's
canceled after
Sideshow,
30
not Hot Toys, but yeah.
or inside? It's like Sideshow's doing that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
that's
it's
kinda
weird.
cool.
I don't know. I protected all mine. I'm not planning on buying a whole lot more. So, but anyway, I've been watching Prison Break. Um, I also have been rewatching The Crown, and like
What
Okay.
season are you on?
season 4.
Okay.
They go down a little better now that like with some time. Like it's so hard to follow up those first 2 seasons and that cast especially.
Mhm.
Um,
And they're more involved with like governance. So what they're doing is like from the early seasons, they have like a real weight, which kind of slips
yeah.
off.
So like in season 3, there's God, I forgot his name now. The one prime minister she really likes, and then there's the other guy who deals with the miners' strike, and like that stuff is interesting. But there's not a whole lot about it. Like she doesn't really do anything. She just like meets them and has an opinion about them. Um, and then in season 4, it's Margaret Thatcher, and so there's watching her do it, which I think is still interesting. Um, just learning more about the country, and then of course there's a lot of Princess Diana stuff, which I don't
Yeah.
really care about.
Mhm.
All right, I think that's it. All right, let's go on to gaming. Did you guys see the Harry Potter thing?
I did.
I didn't watch it, but Everett was telling me about it.
I watched it like 3 times.
3 times, okay.
Yeah, I
Um,
really liked it.
I watched it once.
Didn't you watch
thought
it
it was-
without sound?
No,
Oh,
no, that
okay,
was
never
that
mind.
was a different thing. I watched it. It was cool. I'm a little like skeptical about some of the things that they said.
Like what?
Well, they say like you're gonna take classes,
Oh,
and I'm
It's-
wondering, yeah, what?
I was gonna say it's billed as like this really large, open breathing world. Like you take classes, you learn spells, and you have to like tame creatures and make potions and grow plants at the
So-
same time as doing the story and like a whole bunch of other shit. Like it's
So-
really big.
So think about the gameplay of that. I have to take a class in order to like up my skills, but if I don't take the class, I'll do the mission and fail because I don't have the necessary skills and have to come back and do the potions class, or
I'm guessing because the way they build it, they say you're a 5th year that has to catch up somehow. I'm guessing there's gonna be like the first like little section of the game is you like at like getting used to Hogwarts, going through some mandatory classes and doing all that stuff. And then the rest might be not mandatory. Like maybe you can do it before you go do the story stuff or
With no evidence for this, I would just say one thing about that. If the classes are all distinct and interesting and fun, like if they're like mini games or missions and they're unique, that could be cool. However, what kind of disturbs me about that is if it's like do the same exact mission over and over again. Like imagine the potions class mission is like brew 10 of these potions and you have to do it like 10 times. That could get really repetitive really quick.
Well, yeah, but I'm also thinking like, is there actually going to be a class? Like, how much are they going to go into this to make it feel like you're really in Hogwarts, like as a student, and how much of it is going to be mini games or like you said, tasks? I'm sure there will be tasks. I'm sure there will be mini games, but like, to what extent are we going to be discussing, like potions
Right.
or occlumency? I don't even know if that's a class.
though I think they said it's herbology, potions, and beasts, as well as charms and defense against the dark arts. I think those are the ones they mentioned.
Yeah, so I guess we don't get to go to history, although they did show Professor Binns, I thought. The ghost that died while he was giving a lecture that was so boring that no one noticed he had died. Like,
And I think I
while he
saw
was
Peeves in there. That was interesting.
oh, okay. I saw Nearly Headless Nick. So it looks cool. There's the rumor requirement, and I wonder what that will be like. How often are you going to utilize the rumor requirement?
Well, that's like your base of operations. That's not your dorm room. That's like where you make all your stuff and store all your stuff, and that's where you keep all your beasts in that little greenhouse.
I mean, it would be interesting. I don't know if it's feasible, but I would like the idea of a game that there's a lot of like random changing elements to it, like where the room shows up at different times, like when you actually need it. Like you get into trouble, you're running around the halls, the room might show up. Like,
That might be interesting. I mean, there's a decent amount of changing elements, like the weather changes, the seasons change, there's a day
yeah,
night cycle.
that's the thing. Like open world, but it's a school year, and I wonder. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be very short. That's what I think. Which I guess
If
I'm
it's
okay with.
artificially long, that won't be fun. Like a bunch of like side tasks when there's only like 8 missions. That wouldn't be good.
I think it's going to be very short. Um, Trailers. So the one that I watched with no sound, but I did watch it later, was Miss Marvel.
Oh,
What did
that's
you
what
guys
you watch
think?
with those on.
I watched it
Um,
like in pieces. So I just was like, eh.
I'm a little on the fence. It doesn't look awful, but I'm a little pissed off that they're ruining her power set. But I don't know.
What do you
If,
mean
like I said,
ruining her power set?
so the whole thing about Miss Marvel is that she's inhuman, and her one power is that she can basically like
Wait,
grow in
is that the
size.
whole
And
thing? Is the most important thing about her that she's inhuman?
let me finish my statement. So
So no.
her whole power set is that she can like lengthen and grow her limbs and grow in size, and like
So
that's her.
she's Elastic Man
Yeah, basically, she's like Elastic
or
Girl.
Mr. Fantastic.
Yes, essentially. Which, in my opinion, if you're doing Fantastic Four, that makes her completely redundant. But they're completely changing it because she's not inhuman. I don't know what they're doing. They're making her bracelets magic. She has
Wait,
like a bunch of
so she
abilities
was
she doesn't have.
redundant before, and then they changed it, and you're mad?
No, my thing is like I don't like it when they change that kind of stuff. But like I've said in the past, I have my one of my rules for filmmaking is you can make changes to the source material so long as the story is good and it benefits the character. So I have to watch it to see if they've actually done that, and if they've done that, I won't care. But if they didn't, then I'm gonna be upset. But that's why I'm on the fence because I mean, changes are good, but only if they work. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, I
Well,
think
I
that's
think she's
basic.
redundant, so I think that they had to do something different. Like she's super redundant. Also, it's hard to do that in a TV show. Like you need like movie budget stuff to make her elastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's redundant, like you said. So I'm like, what's the point? Why do we have two of those people? So now it's bracelets with crystals or something, and I think that's okay.
I don't know. She's got like a bunch of. She can make like shields and like do
It
magic and stuff.
almost
That's a
looks
little
like
weird.
an Eternals thing. Like you know
Yeah,
how
I
they
didn't
get
think about
that
that.
they get that like it's made of like a certain type of whatever they can do, like it comes around their bodies or whatever.
Yeah,
So
Mhm.
it looks like something like that. I'm not saying it's Eternals, but that's what it seems like.
it could be
Um,
interesting.
yeah, I liked it, and they had it was a good trailer actually. I think with the music and all that. I don't know that I'm sold on the actress, but whatever. We'll see more of her. I think the idea that she's a super fan is interesting. Avengers Con and all that crap. Um, I think maybe I have something about that. Let's look here.
I'm getting like flashbacks of the Avengers game whenever I see her.
The Avengers Con was a cool part of the Avengers game.
I agree.
It was also like the start of it, so kind of downhill from there. Um, in this article, yeah, AvengerCon. The quote, okay, will feature in the trailer. Um, in the trailer, they call her Kamala, and she corrects them to Kamala.
Hmm.
But the name could be pronounced both ways. Like I've heard Kamala.
I think the main one I've heard is Kamala Khan. That's what I call her at least.
I mean, that's what Americans call her probably, but I like Kamala. Like it's Middle Eastern. I don't know, whatever.
Well, isn't she
Um,
Middle Eastern? I'm sure like that her family calls her that or
that's what I'm
something.
saying. Like that. So it seemed the weird correction in the show. I don't know. Weird. I'd like to know if her parents refer to her as Kamala,
Hmm.
because that doesn't sound like it has a Middle Eastern accent at all, although Kamala does. Um, something tells us poor Spider-Man won't be among those being celebrated after
That's so
London.
stupid.
Avengers restored those affected by the blip, so I guess this is post Endgame. All right. Pixar reportedly restores same-sex kiss in Lightyear after Disney controversy surrounding "Don't Say Gay" bill. I have no idea what the fuck is going on. What?
Okay, so
What the?
okay, this is going to be very confusing and it's going to go into the real world. Florida passed a bill which has been nicknamed the Don't Say Gay bill, which among other things it forbids the teaching of sex ed to like kindergarten to 3rd grade and potentially past that in any way. And
They don't really
basically
do
like
that anyway, though.
I know that's why that people are like, why are you pushing this bill in? And what I've from what I understand, it also makes it so that like if anyone tries to educate like youngish kids on like LGBT things, you can like have
Oh, that's why. Okay.
charges against you. Um and so Disney, it came out, was donating to the Republican like party who in Florida who was
Interesting.
pushing this bill.
So after the uproar of that they were caught like funding the bill, the kiss has now been reinstated into the movie. Okay.
And there it talks about the bill right there. The parental rights in education. That's the actual act.
Yeah. Why? When is this movie even coming out? June 17th? Jesus Christ, that's a long way away. Um, Harley Quinn writer Paul Dini. This is the guy. They created her for the animated series. This is the guy that I'm saying is a good Batman writer. I don't know why they don't ask him to do something. Why he created her. I wanted to broaden the Joker's gang a little bit. I was just a freelance writer and I came up with this idea for a grim Joker story where he tortures an ordinary man just to show that his cruelty and his cutting and warped sense of humor applies to more than just Batman. If you can tie that all into Batman, that's fine. That doubles the joke for him. But in that story, we started off on such a scary note with this traffic accident where this guy speaks up for the first time in his life and he realizes he's speaking up to the Joker. It's like, oh my God, I told off a psychotic master villain who's now targeted me. How did I get into this? Due to the fact that the story felt so grim, Denny felt that he needed some laughs in there, but didn't want them at the expense of Batman or. See, this is like they're saying the Batman is dark. This is dark. I thought it would be fun as a way to take the edge off the Joker and make him more sadistically whimsical and playful if he had somebody funny in his gang. So I figured you'd have the usual component of these guys, but I thought What if there's a girl in there and the girl is kind of a wayward soul and snappy and funny and kind of a fool to his leer? Somebody who's like the Joker's jester. It felt like there was some fun to be had there. And it's not without precedent when you think back to the hench people that used to cluster around the villains in the Adam West 1960s Batman. They all have mixed gangs of men and women. So it felt right to do that there or here. So from there, I thought it would be fun to do a kind of 1930s Girl Gone Wrong kind of thing with a 1930s Judy Holliday type voice. My friend Arlene Sorkin does that type of character particularly well, and she was on TV a lot of the time, so it all sort of aligned. I mean, he's right. Like he's like, I want to tell like a real story. It's a character thing. Like the guy speaks up for the first time in his life, and it's like the worst person he could have ever. I mean, it's good writing. And then he's like, but it's way too dark. Like it needs something else. And then he found exactly what he needed. Um, that's where Harley started, but from there, the character fell under the purview of other writers and creators, though Dini would weave in and out of her life over the years and appear in additional animated shows and films, video games, comic books, and feature films. Over the years, he notes, she went from being this kind of sideline character to someone we really liked a lot. I've always maintained that a character like Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, or any of these others doesn't just spring fully born from the animator's pencil, that it's a process of evolution, and sometimes a character will start off one way and get redefined. Harley started off as pretty much a standard type of character, but the directors liked her, and even the show got on the air, and they were like, "Hey, where's my Harley Quinn episode?" So she was fun for the crew of Batman the Animated Series to work with. And then when she got on TV, there was some initial feeling from the audience. I hope we don't see her all the time, which was our feeling too, which is not the lesson that they have taken. They're like, let's put her in every movie. We didn't want to diminish the threat of the Joker by watering him down too much by giving him too much of a predictable supporting cast. But a little of her went a long way, and I think people were more engaged by her than not, and that made you want to know a little bit about her. So whenever there was a moment where the Joker would shout at her or she would have to apologize for something he did, it showed him off as being more of a monster, but it also showed their relationship as being more complex. By the time Bruce Timm and I created Mad Love comic, we got to see that there was a deeply tragic secret origin to the character that engaged the readership sympathy for her and also audience on the TV show. So they now knew that there was more to her than just what appeared on screen, which I'm guessing is like when she was the therapist.
Mhm. I'm guessing.
As time passed, Dini and other writers elected to do things that would move her further and further away, which was appealing to the audience. Suggests Dini, it was leading her to a point where Harley was going to get her turn and get even with him for some of the lousy things he does. See, I actually feel like at this point, it's over. Like, you've kind of lost the plot a little bit. But at the end of the episode, Joker's Millions, I had her very decidedly giving him crap for daring to replace her in the gang, and that showed that she could get angry, could have that side to her, and really snap at him. That sort of fueled a lot of creators' imaginations. Um, for whatever reason, their relationship turned very abusive. She was coming into her own as a very distinct character, and that's where she is today. She's a character who is off on her own, who has been liberated in a lot of ways as far as unconventional thinking. Arguably, you can thank the Joker for that, or you can just say she sort of arrived at that conclusion on her own. Um, See, the thing about it is they they've turned her not on her own. They've turned her like she's directly tied to Joker. Like everything that she does is about Joker. She's become a character like when they wrote her, she was friends with Poison Ivy, and they would go on their own adventures or whatever. But like Birds of Prey is literally just her being like, "This is my attempt to get away from Joker," like in my emotions.
Yeah, well, that show that some of these screenshots are from, like where she's hitting the Joker right there with the baseball bat, um,
Yeah, I don't know what this is.
that's the Harley Quinn show. Okay, it got
It's on
2
HBO.
seasons. The whole season is her like getting away from the Joker, and then like she marries Poison Ivy, and they have a relationship. And but like the show is like she like is better than Batman and better than Joker, and like
I think they said it right when they said she's better in small doses, and I think they should have just kept it that way. Green Lantern, Greg Berlanti reveals how the film indirectly led to the creation of the Arrowverse, the one
What?
with Ryan Reynolds.
Wow,
We're actually working on a Green Lantern series for HBO Max, so it's come full circle. The movie did introduce me to a lot of the folks at DC, which led to Arrow. So while it was heartbreaking on the film side, ultimately it led to wonderful things on the television side. Um,
Hmm. Uh, okay.
What?
I was gonna say like that whole like CW verse kind of imploded on itself.
I mean, I put it at the same quality as all the Star Wars stuff. So you like that?
You know what?
Yeah,
I
I'm actually gonna back that up. I haven't. I would agree.
I used to like Arrow and Flash like in the first few seasons, but uh, I maybe it's my own bias. I'd put Star Wars above the Arrowverse and that kind of shit because if you watch like later seasons, it's not just like the animation stuff. It's like lazy everything, acting,
That
writing,
seems like
story.
that seems like the Star Wars.
Star Wars has good visuals. That's what elevates it. But no,
It
I'd
has
say
okay visuals.
Yeah, remember that guy with
they have better
with their
funding.
scooters? Yeah, those are some
Yeah,
great
those
visuals
quality
there.
visuals, bro.
The
They have better
go-kart gang.
funding. I
Halo,
still
the Halo trailers look exactly like
don't
the.
don't even bring up Halo.
I
It's
think
I've
Halo
blasphemy.
looks better. I think Halo
I'm
looks
gonna,
No,
I'm
better.
gonna
no.
actually try to watch Halo. I'm gonna
I'm
try to
not.
watch it.
I'm
I
not
know
gonna watch
you're
it at
not,
all.
but Everett, they look the same.
You're insane. Then you need more. You need better eyes. Like
I don't
think-
think so.
Yeah,
I
I
think
you're
you're
Halo looks
letting
awful.
hypocrite.
fanboyism blind yourself, Everett.
Yeah. When
I
does
still- I
Halo
still-
premiere?
You were saying that the book of Boba Fett was bad, and then Cad Bane shows up, and you're like, okay, it's actually not that bad.
I
guys."
liked Cad
yeah,
Bane.
because
in
you
it.
like Cad
Hey, it
Bane.
comes out in 4 days.
I'm not watching it. But
Why?
yes.
Why
What
don't
if
you
we do it
watch
for the podcast,
You
Everett?
watch
Oh my
so
God.
much
If you-
trash.
Are you really gonna force me to watch the Halo
Everett, you
series?
watch crap, dude.
Yeah, you watch
but
so much trash.
This is a deliberate shit on my childhood and the things that I love.
No, it's
Like,
not. The book
yes,
of
it
Boba
is.
Fett was a deliberate shit. Dude.
yeah.
They took a character who said nothing for like 1.5 movies and made a show about him where he does nothing.
But I like Halo more than I like Star Wars, and this is just gonna.
This is
Ooh.
deliberate shit on everything that you love.
I didn't say that everything they did was fucking perfect. Of course, they did awful shit in that show. They do awful shit in every show. I've gone on record on this podcast and said that pretty much all the Star Wars stuff they've come out with is pretty mediocre shit. What I'm saying is it's better than the Arrowverse, and I don't
Arrow
know.
Season 1 and 2 are fine.
That's what. Did you not hear me say that? I said I like the earlier stuff of Arrow and Flash.
Yeah, but they're
But later
better
seasons and where it is now is bad. Lazy
but
everything.
I stopped watching after season 2.
Yeah, it's
Actually,
over. It's been done. Like there's no point in watching it anymore. It's all terrible now. But I would say like, okay, so Mandalorian is 2 seasons in, and I would say that Arrow and Flash gave you way more for like the time you spent on them than Mandalorian did.
Here's one of my arguments versus Halo and Star Wars. With Star Wars, with the Book of Boba Fett, it was pretty bad. I think we all agree on that. But at the very least, you had people who've done good work in the past that are trying to come up with new stuff. That's what the Book of Boba Fett was. That's what the Mandalorian was. Yeah, it didn't work very well, but for the most part, it was an attempt at something new. With Halo, you're taking an established universe that already existed. You're not taking any real, what's the word?
I haven't even seen it.
I've seen enough of the trailers and I've read enough of the articles to know what's going to happen. They're not taking any inspiration from the books or the games or anything.
Good.
They
Fuck
didn't
the
even
books.
something
The
original.
games are terrible.
They're
doing something original.
but they're not. It's
So
not
they're trying
original.
something new.
It's not going to work.
So just to be clear, the people who took a rehashing of an ancient character and gave him a show where he does nothing, that's trying something new. But taking Halo and trying to make a show that's not based off the books or the games is not trying something new.
The fan bases have different opinions. If when you do that with Star Wars, people like that because they like seeing the evolution. If
They
you do that
like
with
anything. They like
Halo has
anything.
Halo has a set storyline. If they're deviating at a non-canon weird story, it's not a
There
continuation.
is
It's not
nothing in
anything.
Halo that is sacred and worth keeping. There, I said it.
I'm not
all
going to
up
take
for
as firm of I'm not going to take as firm of a point here as Kia, but what I am going to say is it sounds really weird that you think Book of Boba Fett was new and original and trying something different.
I didn't.
when it
I said they
seemed
were
really-
attempting. I said they attempted to do something new.
But it doesn't look like they even attempted. It feels like all the other Disney Plus shows, it's using an old character where they bring them back. It's literally like cookie cutter bullshit. You introduce a character, then you give him a spinoff and he has a wider, it's the same bullshit. A Halo show that's not based off the games or the books, okay, what are they going to do? Because they're not constrained by a current story element. It could be interesting. I don't think it's necessarily going to be good, but I'll tell you what, I think Book of Boba Fett is worse than the beginning of Arrow. And I think Book of Boba Fett and Halo look about equal in my opinion. Although based on the visuals, Halo looks like it'll be more visually interesting.
Remember how I said
remember
how I said another one of my rules of filmmaking is I don't like it when if you've established rules in a universe and then you completely throw them out in favor of something new, like whether you're pandering to someone or whether you want to try to be creative and it ruins
What did they
everything.
throw out?
It's not good. Hear me out. They did it in Star Wars in the movies. They have all these rules they set up and they completely threw them out in favor of shitty character development. What they're doing with this Halo show is this has no connection to the games. It has no connection to anything. It's just Master Chief, a completely made up team he's running with. It's a whole new weird plot. It has nothing to do. They're rewriting rules. They're rewriting characters. They're making everything different with those characters. So at that point, I'd say, why don't you just make something new with that story instead of having to tack Halo onto it? That's what I don't like.
What did you want them to do? Like to rehash Halo?
I didn't want them to make a Halo show in the first place.
You said you were excited about it in years past.
I said I was excited about the prospect of it, but that's only if you do it good.
That's what I'm asking. Would you want them to rehash like every level of Halo 1? Is that what you want?
No, but they can go through any of the books. Like, have you ever? You guys probably
I've
haven't
read the books. I've read.
You've read the books?
Yeah,
and the books do not track with
great.
the game. By the way, there's not consistency between the two of them. So
that's not necessarily true.
No, it's true. The games eventually they'll like try to retcon them back together, but the books and the games do not track with one another.
I disagree on that, but
what did you see that is so blasphemous?
He's gonna mention the car.
No, the car is just a stupid thing. I mean,
there's a car.
Oh, there's a second trailer? I didn't even see it.
Yeah, there's a second trailer.
I haven't seen
the car thing is in the first trailer. If you
looks like better CGI than what we've seen.
This is already 10 times better than anything I've seen outside of the Star Wars first two trilogies.
That's way better CGI right there.
I'm not a fan. I'm not going to enjoy it.
But why? I think you're just hating it. I think you're being a hater.
Here's what I want. Okay, I want Master Chief. I want him killing like the Covenant. Does the show have that?
One would assume, but you're very.
Wait, does it have it or not?
Yeah, I'm sure.
That looks weird.
But you have a very specific opinion about Halo. You like the first one because all it was go from point A to point B, super soldiers killing aliens. Stupid. You didn't like 2 or 3 or any of the others.
What do you mean point A to point B? What are you talking about?
You've said that you like Halo 1 and basically no other Halo game because
it gets all religious.
Yeah, that's the shit that I like. I like the story. I like the story.
Like they should talk to each other in their own language. I don't want to see them like fucking speaking English.
That's where we disagree. I think that's some of the best story writing comes in.
You think that looks good?
No, that looks bad. But the scene of the city, that looks good.
From what I've seen, they're doing like weird shit. Like they're rewriting.
That looks
stories.
interesting.
They made Master Chief weak. I don't care if it looks good. They made him weak. They're lowering his power.
So you don't care if it looks good. You don't.
They made Cortana and Halsey look really weird looking.
You played over a day of Halo Infinite.
I hate Halo Infinite.
You played over a day of Halo
I played the campaign and that's it. I hate Halo Infinite. Don't ever say that I like Halo Infinite. It's an insult.
I haven't played it at all.
It's awful. It's terrible.
My point is
I'm gonna say it. Ever liked Halo Infinite?
Go fuck yourself. This no.
This looks good. Like CGI wise, this does not look bad. This looks.
I'm not saying I wouldn't buy a Hot Toys figure if they made one of Master Chief.
God damn it! So they're not throwing the Prophets are right there. It looks just like the Prophet.
Okay, I'm not saying I wouldn't buy
Flood.
I hate the Prophets.
Okay, that's the one point I can't argue because this is the same thing I say about Star Wars. The Star Wars show sucks, but I like the aesthetic. This show's gonna suck. But yeah, I guess it looks good. I mean, I don't like
compared to what? Are you saying that Book of Boba Fett will be better than this show? Because you ended up liking Book of Boba Fett.
No, I think they're going to be equally awful.
But then why would you watch Book of Boba Fett and you wouldn't watch this?
I have more of a connection to Halo than I do Star Wars. I care more about Halo than I do Star Wars. Star Wars I like. I watch I watched the Clone Wars. A lot of the stuff of the Clone Wars I liked, but I also didn't like some of that.
Yeah,
Halo,
but
I have
you liked
like
Halo, like you have.
I no. I love Halo. Halo to me is what Warhammer is to you, or what Batman is to Kia.
Yeah,
like,
and I can acknowledge that it's moronic.
Batman
I
movie
like
just came
I
out.
acknowledge that the stuff they've come out with recently for Halo was awful.
If they
Infinite's
made-
awful. Halo 5 is awful.
Yeah, but I would watch it. If they made a show of Warhammer, like a live action show, they make Warhammer live action stuff all the time. I'm like, that's mediocre. But I watch it so I can actually critique it. I just don't understand. Like, you seem to have this like vicious hate towards it without watching
okay,
it.
fine.
And then
if you want to just equalize this, I'll watch it. I guess that you can use the argument. If I don't watch it, I can't complain. So I'll watch it and then I'll complain.
Well, I mean, I can't tell if the writing is going to be good, but based on that trailer, I'm like, okay, it's Halo.
I
Like, it's
can
not-
already see what parts of it are going to be. What they've done from that trailer is they broke the rules. They're adding humanity to the covenant, which is blasphemy. That doesn't
games
They
happen.
do
did
that
that.
throughout the
No,
games.
they did not.
Yes,
No,
they do.
they did
Halo
not.
2 and 3 do that nonstop.
Don't they even make one of them playable? Like, don't you play as the Arbiter?
That's not the same thing at all.
Yes,
You
that's
play as the-
humanizing him.
They
you
add
play it-
humanity, and in the books, there's tons of adding humanity to the covenant.
That is not true.
That is 100%
No,
true. And in
100%
Halo 4.
untrue.
And yes, it is.
There is a difference between playing as the Arbiter when he's still part of the Covenant and playing as elites once they've left the Covenant and allied with humanity versus when the Covenant is the Covenant and adding humans into the fold. That breaks the rules, that changes the entire story of why the Covenant was even created in the first place. It
What
changes
does adding
everything.
humanity to the covenant mean to you?
There's a whole shit ton of lore, but the short version is the Covenant exists because the prophets want power to control the galaxy. They don't like humans because they're jealous of the fact that they're the Forerunners' chosen ones. So they wage holy war on them to remove them from the galaxy because they don't want them to be more powerful than they are. That's the whole reason why they go to war. If you add them to the fold, it completely destroys the reason they
add
exist
them
in
to
the
the
first
fold.
place.
You're saying that
Yeah.
the covenant wants to absorb humanity.
In that
and that's
trailer,
wrong?
you have humans working with the Covenant. There's a woman walking through the ship with the hunter worms, the whole shebang. She's on High Charity. It's very obvious that she's either
But
corrupted or they
Everett,
have humans
in
working with them.
Halo Harvest, the covenant arrives and says their plan is to integrate humanity into the covenant. That's a lore accurate canon novel and I have read it.
But Harvest is also before the war starts.
No, that's when the war starts. Harvest
is the start of the war.
Yeah, they plant and then they get pissed because the humans have the ability to activate Forerunner stuff, and that's like
That's
zealousy.
the start of the war. That's why they don't.
What if
like
we're
humans.
seeing the start of the war here, and this is them trying?
Because this has no connection to Halo at all. It's
How do you know they're not going to do that? But this is what I'm saying. Your logic is arbitrary. You're like Boba Fett is better because Halo is doing something.
I didn't say
different.
Boba Fett was better. Boba Fett is awful. I said they're going to be equal.
No, it's just I feel like your logic is arbitrary. I think you're blinded by hate.
You're like a
Sith
stupid
I have
Jedi.
no
lines.
idea if the
You're
writing will be
blinded
good.
by hate, Everett.
I
You're
didn't see
blinded
any
by hate.
indication of whether or not the writing will be good, but the show looked fine.
You're blinded by
I'm
hate.
basing it off the reviews that have come out so far, and I'm basing it off what I've read and what I've seen.
With respect, the reviews that come out say like Shang-Chi's amazing and like
Yeah,
like
those are
Eternals
idiot
fucking
critics.
No, the
sucks.
reviews say Shang-Chi was all right, but how about them Asians?
like I'm just saying it really seems like you're blinded by hate for arbitrary reasons. If you watch it
think
and
I'm
you're like
justified.
that scene is stupid, no. If you watch it and you're like that writing was dumb, that scene was stupid, the plot doesn't make sense, totally makes sense. But before it comes out and you're like they're ruining the sanctity of the lore, like that is stupid.
I
You
mean, the
gotta be
fact
with
that
me
Boba
there.
Fett even exists now, again, like after the pit, that's blasphemous.
The people I hear who scream about this type of stuff are the people who are like, Batman is never allowed to use a gun because that's ruining the sanctity of what's been created. He can't kill people.
Yeah.
Like
Darth Maul is still
Okay.
alive. Mace Windu might return. Like, give me a fucking break.
All right, let me find a middle ground compromise with the two of you. I acknowledge that what you're saying has logic in it, and I acknowledge that I can't really complain or use any of my filmmaking rules until I see the final product. Once I watch it, which I guess I now will, then I can start complaining and start nitpicking and doing whatever I want. But until that happens, I guess I can't make a real argument until I
when
see
you
it.
start to nitpick, we will start bringing up Star Wars every time.
And I will just continue to say I admitted that I didn't like what happened with Boba Fett and Mandalorian.
But you were
and
like,
I thought,
you were really on board with man. I remember
I like
asked you
Star
about it.
Wars.
I asked you about
like
Boba
Star
Fett,
Wars. I
and
like
you
the
said it was
aesthetic.
garbage. I asked you about what happened with Boba Fett, and you said it was garbage. And then on the last episode, you're like, you know what? Cad Bane showed up, and like, I like that. That was pretty cool. Like,
I you know what? As bad as it is, I like it when they do stuff like that sometimes. No, it just that hits the nostalgia
but
button.
that clashes
As
with your
shitty as it
argument
is,
that clashes with your argument that nostalgia is why Halo's going to be bad, because nostalgia is why you liked Boba Fett, which was bad, and then you liked it more.
I still think Halo's going to be awful, but I'll save my judgment for when it comes out.
All right.
Okay.
Christopher Lloyd's going to be in Mandalorian season 3.
Oh joy.
As why? Okay.
Why are they even making a season 3?
At least it's the last one.
But can you tell me why there's a season 3 after the Grogu thing has been resolved?
Money.
But like, what is the story going to be?
I really don't know. They resolved everything and then they kind of reversed it in Boba Fett. They're back in square one now, except now they don't have the I'm gonna go give him to the Jedi. It's just we're running around the galaxy together. I'm sure it's gonna be they're gonna retake Mandalore and they're gonna do that shit. I don't know.
This is what the Green Lantern would have looked like, and had they allowed Zack Snyder to use him. It's cool. I guess.
It doesn't look
I
bad.
like Jon Stewart better than Hal Jordan, so
I agree. I like Jon Stewart much more.
Deborah Ann Wool would reprise her role of Karen Page in a heartbeat.
okay.
I want to play with Frank Castle again. I want to play with Matt Murdock again. Well, I don't really know what story are they going to tell? Like, they've already told every story.
Daredevil.
He's going to
versus
become
the
Punisher for the
again.
8th time.
I saw this.
Samuel L. Jackson indicates that he'd be hesitant to star in a DC Comics movie. But I don't know that I'm going to read a DC script that's going to make me go, yeah, this is dope, because you expect things to happen because, look, I'm a comic book fan. I've been reading comic books forever, but I don't know what the thing is with DC cinematically. What?
He's saying they're not consistent, I think.
My man's been part of Marvel for too long.
And then they say, is it because Marvel has like a better grasp of the shared cinematic universe formula, to which Jackson offered, sometimes, most of the time.
He's just ran. He's like, he's just saying things.
So like,
half the articles are literally just like speculation or like people like
they're like,
talking
isn't
out
that
of
the
their
point
ass.
you were just making? He's like, maybe, I don't know. Sometimes things happen. I walk outside and it's snowing. I don't know. Like, all right, cool. We got an article. Obi-Wan Kenobi casting details reveal actors playing a new Jedi and Breha Organa, Princess Leia's mother. Reva, the fifth brother, the Grand Inquisitor, shake down civilians trying to lure Nari out, and all three enter an establishment where we see the Grand Inquisitor giving a speech about the Jedi not being able to help themselves. Nari was a Padawan who grew up in the Jedi Temple on Coruscant and has been searching for Obi-Wan ever since seeing this message after Order 66 was enacted. So Nari is a boy, apparently. What do you think about that, Everett?
I don't know. I mean,
Breaks with the lore.
There's a lot of gray area between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope to do stuff with Obi-Wan, but I don't know. I don't really care about this one. Believe it or not. I cared more about Boba Fett and they let me down there.
Why don't you care about this?
Obi-Wan was never really my favorite character anyway, and
that's weird.
I don't know.
Who doesn't like Obi-Wan?
I like Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, but I feel like they're just kind of grasping for straws at this point. What are they gonna do?
I saw this tweet and I had no idea.
There's no stakes at all.
They're not grasping for straws when they bring back Boba Fett to be a crime lord.
Who doesn't do crime lord things?
I'm burnt. I'm getting burned out on Star Wars the more we talk about it. You guys are like you're like digging it into the dirt for me, and it's not.
We're
a bad
not digging
thing.
it in the dirt. We've had these discussions.
That's not a bad thing. Like you're showing me how how shitty it is now.
All I'm
Everett,
saying
kinda
is if
reading
you were as
today.
critical with Star Wars as you're being with Halo, you would see it. Like
It's just
showing,
odd, yeah.
yeah, like you have the
I
ability.
I am critical on Star Wars.
Uh,
Like I gave Star Wars a chance and they let me down, so I'm immediately going with I'm not giving Halo a chance because it will let me down.
um, so I don't know what is this article. Zack Snyder goes viral after tweeting
I
about
saw this
the
tweet.
1 year anniversary of his Justice League cut.
It's already been a year.
We shot a version of this scene with Green Lantern, but the studio really fought me and said, we really don't want you to do Green Lantern. So I made a deal with them and they let me do this instead. We have plans for Jon Stewart and we want to do our own announcement. I said, all right, I'll give you that. So Martian Manhunter was the compromise. What's the.
So they have plans for Jon Stewart. Is that the point? The tweet's
Yeah,
really
they have
fucking
that
weird.
show. This means something. Huh?
Okay. What this says, by the way, makes no sense. The entire world believes a Justice League or became a Justice League.
League. Okay.
Yeah.
What November 17th? Isn't that when it initially November 17th, March 18th? I don't understand. What is how's that how's that a year? What's going on?
I don't know. That's why I was like, I didn't understand it at all.
Oh shit. Snyder Cut release
March
date.
18th.
Okay. So
Was it
what's
when the
up?
first movie came out? Was that
Maybe
the other date?
Yeah, because I was in Denmark for Thanksgiving and I watched it there. So okay. Wish I didn't even click on that. Obi-Wan will feature an iconic piece of Darth Vader imagery in live action for the first time. What is it going to be, Everett?
I don't know. All I know is they're bringing back Hayden Christensen. That's all I know.
Darth Vader will have his mask broken in the limited series by everyone's favorite "Hello There" saying Jedi Knight. Oh, they're going to fight. Anakin will look at Obi-Wan with his own eye one last time.
First of all, that's incredibly fucking stupid because that actually breaks the story they've created. And second of all, they already did that in Rebels. They explicitly stated that Obi-Wan and Anakin / Darth Vader did not see each other from the moment that they fight on Mustafar in the Revenge of the Sith.
When did they state that?
Yeah, when did they state that?
When he sees him in A New Hope.
He said, Anakin, I haven't seen you.
They haven't seen each other since then.
Yeah, but how do you
they
know?
explicitly state it?
I'm blanking on the line. They said it in A New Hope.
They explicitly stated.
They don't say it. They don't say it.
Like that's
versus Darth Vader.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now.
Okay.
This is a pretty cool video, by the way. If you guys haven't seen this,
yeah, reimagined. It is very cool. But like that's like Vader's whole.
Okay, what does he say?
Oh, no closed captioning. Can you guys hear it?
No.
But
can you guys hear it?
Oh, now I can. Yeah.
Okay. Let me cut this short. You're not gonna find the line. I'm pretty sure the line doesn't exist.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
we're gonna watch you be wrong.
But let me explain it in terms of like Vader's. That's like part of his character.
Okay, so he says, "It's been a long time, and when I last left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master."
Okay, that still doesn't really, I guess, convey my point. But my whole thing is Vader's whole mission. Yeah, I'm wrong. But Vader's whole mission from the point he becomes Darth Vader to that moment right there in A New Hope is he's obsessed with hunting down Kenobi and he never finds him. That's why this moment is so powerful. It's their first meeting since that moment and he defeats him. So the fact
when does it say that?
That's like in the Vader books.
That's Everett's fan canon.
It's not no.
No, at the end of Revenge of the Sith, when he becomes Darth Vader, it seems to point that his plan is to build the Death Star.
No, that's Sidious's plan.
Yeah, but he's like along with Sidious. He's not.
If you read the Darth Vader books, there's like 3 or 4 Darth Vader books.
Those aren't canon though, Everett. They broke from the canon of the movies.
Okay, you know what?
We're just using.
I'm telling you what it actually is.
We're just using your own logic.
You're making your shit up. I'm
not making my shit up. This is real.
I got hard evidence right here that I just played for you that says that it doesn't say that he hasn't seen him.
You can't take that line and insinuate that they haven't seen each
No,
other.
you can insinuate it, but it doesn't mean it's guaranteed.
It seems like when he says I was the learner, it would recall when he like was defeated by Obi-Wan. That's what it sounds like. The fact that they're shoehorning another battle into there, I don't like that, but it doesn't break the continuity. It just makes it like less impactful because now he's lost to him twice, and then he's coming up again, and then it makes this even more anticlimactic because before you were thinking like Obi-Wan is like, well, I can't fight this guy again, like I can't beat him now. I'm old. He's like crazy, so he's like, I'm just gonna like ghost out of here.
Mhm.
But so I guess he beat him twice, which kind of takes away the impact of the first battle too. I think it's a terrible idea, and I don't think the show should exist. But it doesn't break the continuity, which what you said.
Yeah, I guess you have a point.
And
That's
then
a
you keep
better
bringing up those
explanation I
books.
tried to say. What?
Bringing up those books. Those books are meaningless now, aren't they?
Yeah, Disney retconned the entire fucking expanded universe. They
Which
changed what
is
they convey.
stupid. At least okay, the comics I
Stupid or
understand. The
not.
comics are
It's not
fucking
that stupid.
ludicrously like over the top. But the books I understand. I would want those to be canon because they give Vader a little bit. They give everybody a little bit more like character development. Like
Yeah, but they do it in a million different directions. Like I haven't read a ton of
Yeah.
the Star Wars books, but they're all over the place.
Yeah,
And I don't
that-
care. But the point is that the books
It's
have
not a
not been
cohesive
canon for
story.
years.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm aware of that, but I'm sure the books that most people think of are like the sequel books, like after Return of the Jedi, like Darth Vader's dead, Luke Skywalker has like a kid. It's what they based the sequel trilogy on. Like Boba Fett like trains his daughter, like all that weird shit. Like that stuff can be non-canon for all I care.
I
But
know
it's
what you're saying, but I think if you based your argument more on what they're doing is stupid and here's why, rather than it breaks the canon, you would have a stronger argument.
I just pick and choose. Like anything after Rogue One is fan fiction. Like don't even start. Like it's fucking fan fiction. Rogue One goes to great lengths to like make it work. But if you have to cut Rogue One out too, then fucking cut it out. Like it's still just a fun movie. So I'm okay with saying anything after Episode 3 is pure fan fiction, including the shows, including the
I
animated
can get
bullshit
on board
things.
with that now, I guess.
It reads like fan fiction. It's not even like real stories. Like they're gonna bring Mace Windu back? Are you kidding me?
I don't want them to
Are
do
you
that.
fucking kidding me? They have
don't want
no
them to do that.
ideas.
Pretty soon there won't even have been an Order 66. It'll be like
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna show you Order 65 and 67. Like, they were also there the whole time, and guess what? They were the same thing but bigger.
All right. Anyways, so that's stupid.
Everett, do you have a whatever the fuck you call it?
Nah, not this week. I didn't have enough time to write one.
All right. So then I think that is it for this week's episode of Everett Gets His Ass Kicked. What are we doing next week? I don't know if Godfather will be.
I will finish Godfather by next week.
How far are you?
I definitely
I'm
won't.
90% of the way through the book.
You're 90%? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm at 52.
I definitely won't finish the book in the next week. But if you guys still want to review it, I'll watch the movie and we can discuss that.
No,
and
read
you
the
guys can
fucking
discuss
book.
the book. I don't have the time right now.
Yes, you do. I see you playing
No,
Destiny.
I don't have the time right now, Kia. Take my word for it.
Okay.
If you guys want to read the book and I'll watch the movie, like we can do that if you want.
Okay, we'll see where we are by next week about Godfather, but
So
let's
Hurt
put a
Locker
backup
then?
movie. Huh?
Hurt Locker then? That's what we were originally
Oh, is that
gonna
what
do.
we were gonna do? The Hurt
Yeah.
Locker?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll do Hurt Locker unless I'll probably finish because I'm on spring break. So it's probably gonna be Godfather. But yeah. All right. I guess that's it. I'll see you guys next time. Buy my book, whatever.
See you later.
Hey, Everett, wait, Everett, what's your review?
So far, my dad's reading it.
Well, tell him thanks for being a great friend.
I don't have time to read that yet either, but I will.
All right. On that note, we will see you guys next time.
Oh my god.